Hello, my dears. This is your favorite purple lady, Amethyst Lady, back again with another Legends of Runeterra video. Today we are going to do a deep dive into the makings of my favorite deck to run, which I've called Bleed for Me. I want to rework this deck, so I've called upon Bedtimebuddy and Omegastryfe, both platinum ranked players, to help me out. Before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up and smash the subscribe button for more awesome gaming content. The format was done so you feel like you're right there with us as we go through the cards in each video. Let's get right into it. Blade's Edge.
Alright, so I'll get started. Blade's Edge is a fast spell to deal 1 damage to anything. So let's start with the pros of this card. It's the versatility of this card is actually pretty interesting for a Bleed for Me deck, and that's due to the fact that there are a lot of units that you can kill with this card.
So like Teemo.
Two of the main cards that I think of are Trifarian Glory Seeker, the 5/1 turn 2, and
Green Glade Duo.
the Green Glade Duo.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 cards that I think of when I think about Blade's Edge being able to just kill someone when they're summoned. Because they're a fast spell and they cost 1. So you think about the trade value, if they summon a Trifarian Glory Seeker, it's a 2-cost card for a 1-cost card, or the 1-cost Blade what's it called again?
Green Glade Duo.
The Green Glade Duo. So that's either an even trade or an advantageous trade if you have it.
It's a good mana exchange as well.
It is.
Drop the Green Glade Duo on turn 2. You pay a 1 mana spell. Maybe if you didn't have anything on turn 1, you still got 2 mana, so you could drop on turn 2.
And you have the carryover mana that stays with you because it's turn 2 when you stay with it.
Right.
So, and the fact that you have a deck that has maybe 5+ units, maybe 7+ units that benefit from getting damaged and getting a benefit from it, I think this card is actually, at surface level, it looks really simple. I think in this deck, it creates a lot of versatility, even with the extra effect that when you do trade into just a combat situation where you leave the unit with 1 HP, this could be the finalizing blow to finish that unit off. I think this is a pretty good card to keep in your deck.
Is it a 2 of or a 3 of?
I think it's a 2 of, because you don't want to draw this card in late game situations where you need something that has a high impact, but you do want to draw it often enough that you can either find it in your opening hand or soon after your opening hand.
Right.
And I think that should be a 2 of until we see how it manifests and how it works within the deck. I think a 2 of is pretty good.
So y'all let us know what y'all think. If this card is a 2 of, a 3 of, or a GTFO, this thing is way too weak, it's taking up space, get it the hell out of the deck. So, Ashley, do you have anything you want to add about the card? How are you liking the card when you play it? Or you just want to move forward to the next card?
I mean, I like the card when I play it, and I do have it as a 2 of already in the deck. I find that with me running even the Unscarred Reavers, or I do have the Crimson Disciple, or even the later ones like Scar Mothers.
Yeah.
This is a good card to at least get that proc off where they gain better stats. So, I mean, I like the card. Like I said, I've been running 2 of them already, so I agree with keeping it in the state that it's in right now.
Okay.
We'll see how it evolves as we go through.
I think that the only thing that could be considered, and which would be taking the deck into a whole other direction, is if we were to introduce Frostbite into the deck and abandon the damage aspects, but that would be counterproductive via Scar Mother build. So I think that sticking to our guns here, in my opinion, is the best way to go. Mm-hmm. And for me, the question is it a 2 of or a 3 of? Because of its versatility, I would lean more towards a 3 of. But we also have to see how the rest of the deck shakes down. So I guess we'll come back to it later on and revisit.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Next card is going to be Death Lotus.
Death Lotus.
All right. So this is one of those cards that I was thinking might be helpful in dealing with elusive units, and also at the same time proccing my people. You know, it's one of those cards where, you know, if you use it, you know what you're getting into. You're pretty much going to take 1 damage everywhere. All battling units. So I like the card when I have a nice beefy board. I also like the card when I'm dealing with units that can put barrier on themselves. It's really good against that. You know, I think it's a good card. I think 2 has been okay for me. So yeah, I like the card. What are your thoughts?
So I would say, if we're not putting 3 of Blade's Edge, we would put 3 of Death Lotuses. It's a similar effect, but it's more impactful. And I think that because of the fact that you have 7+ units or so that can benefit from receiving damage, that'll be great. I think because of the fact that spiders are so prominent in this meta, that'll be great. I think because of elusives and the green glade duels, that'll be great. And I think because of the fact that even sometimes when you just have units on the board that trade in favorably to the opponent's units, whether it's a 3/3 against a 4/4, and that dude is left with 1 HP, that could also be a beneficial card to have. I think this is so versatile. I think it's the reason why Riot put it as a rare card, because it is a really good card. I think if you're running Noxus in this type of deck where it benefits you hurting some of your units because of Vladimir and because of the Earth Mother cards, or whatever they're called, cards?
Scar Mother. Yeah.
Scar Mother cards. And the extra effect of just being able to have that extra reach to kill the enemy units. I think this either be a 3 of or Blade's Edge, and I'm leaning more towards Death Lotus being a 3 of in your deck.
Alright, so I'm strongly against this card being a 3 of. Like, very strong. Because I've played it, and come on, Riot, man, like, this is Katarina's Death Lotus. Like, this is her ult. It should not do 1 damage. Like, this is ridiculous that it only does 1 damage. But anyway, neither here nor there. It's a situational damage spread so that the opponent can play around it by not sending their key units out to be destroyed. I would rather have 3 Blades Edge, since you can target exactly who you need the damage to be on. Death Lotus is a little more spread out. There may also be situations where you don't want some unit all the way over there on the left or all the way over there on the right to get a little bit extra damage. Maybe you're playing against War Mothers, but you need Mr. Number 3 to die, but if Mr. Number 1 takes a little bit of extra damage, you might get overwhelmed, or you might lose the game, or you might transform the trend, or whatever the hell. Obviously, like, very niche situations, but I think that the value of the card, like the option, like the dream, is you're going against a board loaded with spiders, or you're going against 2 or 3 Green Glade duos, and you're going to put them away and not have to deal with Green Glade duo for a hot minute. But I think that you would be able to get not the same value, because if you think opponent plays turn 1 Green Glade duo, you don't got a Blade's Edge, they attack you, 2 damage. Turn 2, they play another Green Glade duo, they attack you for 5 this time, because one's going to be a 3/1, the other one's going to be a 2/1, and now you have Death Lotus and you hit both Green Glade duos. But if you hit one Green Glade duo with a Blade's Edge there, and you pick up another Blade's Edge 2 or 3 turns later, then you'll be able to kill the Green Glade duo anyway. Not to mention, if you pick up a Death Lotus and they attack, you'll still be able to kill the Green Glade duo whether you have the Blade's Edge or the Death Lotus, except you actually be able to target the guy. I just think that you can hide from this spell a little too well, and there's going to be a lot of times when you're not playing against a Green Glade duo and you're playing against those 1/3s, or you're playing against some 2/2s, or you're playing against some 3/2s, or some 4/4s, or some 4/2s, or some 2/4s. The later that the game goes, the more that the utility pendulum swings toward what you're doing to your own units, and depending on the little intricacies of how the battle is going, are people staying alive by 1 health, and you know, how is that 1 damage going to impact that total board? a lot of those situations are very fringe. So I would keep this as a 2 of for sure.
Okay.
So if you don't mind me interjecting one more time, so I would disagree with that because of the fact that you are the person initiating the Death Lotus. So you know where or when you want to put your units in the position to be dealt 1 damage to, and the benefits that they would either receive or not receive because of that battle initiation and the fact that they have 1 extra damage applied to them. I think that in a Noxus deck that is not running a Vladimir type deck, 3 ofs would absolutely be a bad situation. I think because of the fact that you run 3 Unscarred Reavers, that you run 3 of the turn 3s, 2/4s, that you run Unscarred Mothers on turn 6, that you run Vladimirs that have regeneration. I think because of that, and the fact that you have control when you want to deal those 3 damage and who you want to send out to battle to be dealt that damage to, Death Lotus, I think, could have a good argument to being a 3 of.
Yeah,
but I can see your situation.
I think that the question is, like, when you're holding the Death Lotus in your hand, what else could you be holding in your hand that could
opportunity cost,
that could turn the board around
Absolutely.
or could have a greater impact on the battle? And I think that obviously you have Death Lotus in the deck, but I'm not sure if Death Lotus is what makes or breaks the deck. And I feel like 3 ofs should be absolute staples that you want to play every single game, regardless of the matchup, because they're so key to what you're trying to do in the larger scheme of things. And I think that though it has a lot of synergy with what you're trying to do, I just feel like Blades has a more controlled, effect on what you're trying to do, as opposed to Death Lotus, and which again has the counter plays and stuff like that. Now I can see situations where if you have 3 ofs Death Lotus and your opponent has a lot of 3/2s or anything that has 2, and then you play actually both Death Lotuses during one battle phase, it's not beyond the realm of thought that you would do something like that, because you know that you have another one in the tuck, but also you would be able to get the opponent's minions off the board, oftentimes while powering up your own minions, and which is really good. But I think that that's another of those dream scenarios. And we're also talking about a deck that has minimal to no draw power. So what you have is what you have. So if you have Death Lotus that's clunking because your opponent has 3 health minions, and that situation is happening too often, then it's gonna prohibit you from being able to push for your win condition.
So the last statement that I'll say is the fact that 50% of the decks, and this is just my number, that you'll face are either spiders or elusives. So spiders, there's a clear cut why this would be great against them.
Absolutely.
And then the elusives with the green glade duos, if they're not empowered, I think because of the fact that half of the decks that you'll face in this ladder climb, would it be that? You'll feel good having a Death Lotus in your starting hand. Because you know that even in a 1-for-1 situation where you get rid of either a green glade duel or a 2/1 spider, or you're able to get your minion to trade favorably into that opponent, I think that's a situation where it's like optimal, and the fact that the meta is shifted towards that like early aggression, this could be a really good card to have in your opening hand.
And I think you also go back to what I was saying when you were upstairs, is if you're playing against elusive, sometimes building the board up enough to encourage them to block your units is powerful enough. So if you do have Death Lotus and you start the game with 2 Unscarred Reavers, or if you say Unscarred Reaver on 1, Aristocat on 2, and then the 2/4 on 3 Triferian, I think his name is something like that. I can't think of his name. But you put him on 3, and then you Death Lotus everything. Now those elusive units have to start thinking about blocking you because you're too powerful and they don't want to go face for face.
Not block, yeah, exactly.
So in that respect, I can see it. I think it's one of those situations where you have the card in your deck, and then you really pay extremely close attention to the games where you have it early. And is it changing the early game, or is it just kind of something that's kind of cool, nice to have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are like agreeing to disagree on like small semantics of whether or not Blade's Edge should be a 3 of, or Death Lotus should be a 3 of, and I think we both understand the importance of damaging your own units at least by 1 because of the upside they have, but also because of the upside they may have by damaging 1 to the opponent.
Yeah.
So I think we can keep this for now and evaluate how it performs.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you watch the next video in this series and join in the discussion by leaving a comment below. Like, subscribe, and take care, my dears. Bye!